Good evening, Belize. It's Friday night and you're watching News 5. I'm Jamie Rock. Here's what we're following tonight. A security guard is found murdered overnight at the BWS warehouse compound in Lords Bank. Attorney Arthur Saldivar is breaking his silence as a major constitutional claim moves forward on behalf of Joseph Budna. The Ministry of Home Affairs and the Police Department roll out the 2025 crime statistics, but reporters weren't invited to the ComStat session. Senators go head-to-head over a controversial bill. Critics say it could weaken parliamentary oversight. And activist Jerry Enriquez finally gets a one-page from FOAI response from government after months of waiting. All of this and more are straight ahead. News 5 starts now. Stay with us.
LG dual inverter compressor cools air faster by operating at speeds as high as 120 Hz with more stability compared to conventional models. It also saves up to 70% more energy by operating at speeds as low as 10 Hz with more stability. It reduces torque vibration down to 40% for quiet outdoor unit operation. Stable operation with low vibrations also results in increased durability.
Watch The Truth of God with Pastor Gino Jennings of the First Church of Our Lord Jesus Christ every Sunday morning at 8 a.m. exclusively on Greater Belize Media. The Truth of God with Pastor Gino Jennings every Sunday at 8 a.m. on Greater Belize Media.
Welcome back. A family is in mourning tonight after what should have been a routine shift turned tragically deadly for a Belizean security officer. 35-year-old Darwin Valeria was on duty early this morning at the Belize Water Services warehouse in Lords Bank Village. He was working alongside a colleague who stepped out of the boot to do the usual patrol of the compound, something they do countless times every night. But in that brief moment, a group of men chose to strike, catching Valeria completely off guard. News 5's Shane Williams takes us through what happened and where the investigation stands tonight.
For Darwin Valeria, it should have been just another quiet night on the job, watching over public property while the rest of Belize slept around 1 o'clock on Friday morning. He was one of 2 security officers on duty at the Belize Water Services warehouse in Lords Bank Village. His co-worker left the security booth, presumably to make his rounds through the compound. That's when a group of men scaled the supposedly secure fence and caught Valeria off guard, ambushing him while he was reportedly on the phone with a relative.
These guys have a time lag. They rotate and they go around the compound. They do notify each other. They have the means to notify each other when they are moving from one point to the next. And so my sense was that one guard had indicated to the other that he was going to do rounds, and I believe that's when the incident happened. And so upon that, by the time he had responded, the perpetrators had already left the compound.
After gunshots shattered the quiet rural community, police arrived just after 1:30 a.m. to find 35-year-old security officer lying face down with multiple gunshot wounds. They later encountered Valeria's co-worker who didn't make it back in time to confront the attackers. Valeria was rushed to the Carluke Memorial Hospital, but doctors couldn't save him. His parents got the heartbreaking call about an hour later, the kind of news no mother or father ever wants to hear.
They just called me and my heart started beating, but I was not expecting that call at that time. I thought it was something else, but not knowing to receive that sad call. His girlfriend called me and told me that he got shot and he died. So I come outside, I called my daughter, and from there I went to my niece's house and I told my husband about it also.
What I got from, because I visited the workplace, and then what I gathered from the manager was that he was shot by 3 guys who jumped the fence at the Wassa in Lords Bank. We leave it in the police hands, and justice is supposed to take its course. If it doesn't, then the good Lord knows.
Now the close-knit family is forced to bond even tighter by grief. For Valeria's mother, the pain is unimaginable. A son who left home to work and never came back.
My son was a humble, respectable young man. My son is all about love. He loved his family. Every day he will call and check up on the family, especially for me. He will call when he leave from work. He will call me, Mom, I don't get at the junction already. I look for a ride. I going home, and I said, Thank you, Lord, for watching over you while you're working, that you may reach home safely.
His father describes Darwin as a hard-working, respectful young man who cherished his nieces and nephews and took pride in his Garifuna roots.
We are cultural. I am a drummer, and I was one of the best in Georgetown. So it's like an inheritance. All right? Darwin is always encouraged by his mom. Speak the language. He sees what I do. So whatever I do is what he do. Our humbleness is right within the family because my mom transferred direct to me and from me to him.
Belize Water Services Chief Human Resource Officer Hayden Brown says this incident has sent shockwaves throughout the company. Even though Darwin was employed through a private security firm, Brown says they still saw him as part of the BWS family. The company is now working closely with police and has launched a full review of its security measures in the wake of the deadly attack.
All of us at Belize Water Services feel empathetically towards the family. I mean, it affects all of us as a community, as a people, you know. These things really put the stress on all of us. It's really sad that a young man's life was taken, and we would hope that, you know, the police and the entity in charge do their best to, you know, recover for the family that have lost their loved one. The company offer condolences to the entire family of the fallen guard and all his immediate relatives who are affected by this death.
Tonight, investigators are relying on company surveillance footage as they try to piece together what happened inside the compound and how the attackers gained access. But for the Valera family, no investigation or explanation can bring back the man they loved, another security officer killed while simply doing his job.
My son is all about love. My son always told me, "Mommy, I love you." Every day he called me, he told me he loved me. So I will miss my son so dearly, but I ask God to give me the strength and courage to hold on, and from there I'll take it off.
Anyone with information is urged to contact the authorities. Shane Williams, reporting for News 5.
21-year-old Dorian Denver Anthony has now been beaten 2 murder charges. Today, he walked out of court a free man after being acquitted of the 2023 shooting death of Trenton Webster while still awaiting trial for another murder in Belmopan. Webster was gunned down outside his Rasta Street home on October 19, 2023. Anthony, then just 18, was charged after Webster's wife gave police a detailed statement identifying him as the shooter. But when she took the stand this week, she recanted everything. She told the court she never saw the gunman and never said otherwise, forcing the Crown to treat her as a hostile witness. This morning, Justice Nigel Pilgrim ruled that her earlier inconsistent statement was inadmissible. With no eyewitness, no forensic evidence, and no circumstantial link to Anthony, that prosecution had nothing left. The Crown conceded, and attorney Dr. Lyndon Jones immediately made a no-case submission. The judge agreed, saying the remaining evidence couldn't fairly support a conviction. After just 4 days of trial, Anthony was found not guilty. Justice Pilgrim noted that the witness was terrified on the stand and pointed out that Belize's Justice Protection Act, on the books since 2006, isn't still operational. He said a functioning witness protection program is urgently needed to prevent situations like this. This is the second murder charge Anthony has beaten. At 17, he had also been accused in the killing of 61-year-old Emmert Flowers. Today's acquittal means he is free of Webster's murder, though he remains on remand for a separate killing in Belmopan. The legal battle between Joseph Budna and the government of Belize has intensified, with former Minister of Home Affairs Karim Musa now named in a high court claim. Musa, linked to allegations surrounding Budna's reported kidnapping, maintains the Attorney General should represent the government. Yet, after being personally cited, he sought private representation from attorney Eamon Courtney. Budna's legal team, led in part by attorney Arthur Saldivar, argues that naming Musa is justified if he acted beyond his ministerial duties. Additionally, if the judge rules in Musa's favor, he has requested payment for Courtney's services. We spoke with attorney Arthur Saldivar today for details in the trial.
The crux of it is that the minister's representative is saying that constitutionally the AG should answer for agents of the state, and a minister should not be named in a constitutional claim. But he is wrong. You see, in the ordinary course of things, when it is shown that the functionary of the state acted within the parameters of his responsibility, that is so. The AG has the responsibility. But where there is abuse of authority, where there is negligence, where there is misfeasance, where there is ultra vires actions that can be attributed directly to a minister, then that minister can be named.
Can you talk about the substantial fees that you are being requested to pay on Budna's behalf now that Kareem has been brought into it?
Well, listen to me. Fees are fees. If it's ruled that way, I'll wait until the judge says what the judge has to say, and we deal with that then. Okay?
What does Budna have the resources to foot some of this bill?
Well, he's paying his attorneys. He finds the resources to do whatever he needs to do to keep this matter moving forward. But at the end of the day, it's kind of premature to even be contemplating that because we don't know what the judge is going to rule.
Also named in the lawsuit filed against the government of Belize is none other than Commissioner of Police Dr. Richard Rosado. The 74-page claim submitted back in September by attorneys Arthur Saldivar, Michelle Trapp, and Emertice Anderson was filed on behalf of social media commentator Joseph Budna, who remains jailed in Guatemala following what he says was an abduction from Belize. The suit doesn't shy away from pointing fingers. In fact, it calls out high-ranking officials within the police department, including the commissioner himself. And today, Saldivar stood firmly behind the decision to list Dr. Rosado in the claim, raising serious questions about whether justice may have been obstructed in the earliest stages of this investigation.
The third defendant, the Commissioner of Police, in the least, has to be able to come to say which video he saw, because he said he saw a video, and in the video that he saw, no police officer was in that video, and then we saw Choco. Come on. He has to at least answer to that, don't you think?
And what about the fact that the DPP said that the file the government provided was less than nothing?
Further evidence of cover-up. This thing should have gone to the DPP from August 23rd. The DPP should have been the only one that the file went to. I mean, I don't know the investigative powers of any minister or prime minister. I don't know that the Constitution grants them any kind of right in that respect. But because the matter was kept out of the hands of the DPP for as long as it was, it makes the entire situation suspect. You see? It stinks to high heaven. At this juncture, it is early. It is very early. This thing is just starting.
Yeah, they're trying to say that because it's a constitutional matter and the claims that are being made are serious, that you should be able to say, well, this is what we have linked to the minister in relation to the accusations.
What we know, Marisol, is that there were 4 separate cameras. 4, all of which came directly under the control of the government of Belize. The Banquitas House of Culture, the court camera, the social security camera, and the police station camera. The police station camera. So tell me, what part of footage there?
With the commissioner now pulled directly into this constitutional challenge, those unanswered questions about missing footage, delayed files, and who really controlled the early stages of this investigation aren't going away anytime soon. And as Saldivar puts it, if key evidence was kept from the DPP for months, that's not just troubling, it raises the possibility of a full-blown cover-up. For now, though, this case is only just getting started and the pressure is mounting for the police department and the government to explain what really happened. Coming up, police released crime stats, but media shut out of CompStat briefing. More when we return.
Hello, friends. I'm Dr. Bob Roberts with another 60-second sermon from God's Word. The Bible says, "Let your light so shine before men that they may see your good works and glorify your Father which is in heaven." Dr. W.R. Pettigrew tells of a little crippled boy years ago whose only means of making a living was selling notions in the lobby of a train station. He sat all day on a high stool with a large tray selling his notions to travelers who came by. One day a man rushing to catch a train whirled around the corner and crashed into the little boy, knocking him and his trinkets all over the floor. Instead of apologizing, he cursed the boy for being there. But another traveler was there rushing to catch the same train train, but he saw what had happened and he stopped to help the little fella gather his trinkets and get back on his stew. He then gave the boy a $10 bill and said, "Here, this will pay for the notions that got lost and broken." Then he picked up his bag and turned to leave, but was stopped by the sound of the little boy's voice crying out, wait, mister, are you Jesus?" The man turned around and said, "Oh no, son, I'm not Jesus, but I am one of his followers who is trying to do what he would do if he were here." What does your life say to others about Jesus Christ? Today's 60-second sermon has been presented by Christian Foundations of Faith in cooperation with the Baptist churches in your area.
In the heart of the Cayo district, Calico Jacks is proving that sustainability and success can go hand in hand.
When Calico Jacks wanted to move to solar energy, the biggest difficulty for us was the finance. Belize Bank believed in our vision, and we are very happy and grateful that they gave us this opportunity for the financing.
Through the Credit Risk Abatement Facility, a partnership between Belize Bank and the CARICOM Development Fund, small and medium businesses can access financing for renewable and energy-efficient solutions with reduced collateral requirements.
Here at SCSB, we're grateful for Belize Bank to make it easier for our clients to go green. We're proud to work with businesses like Calico Jacks to help them lower their costs and their carbon footprint.
At Belize Bank, we are powering Belize's transition to renewable energy, one business at a time. Together with our partners, we're making sustainable financing accessible for all.
Belize Bank, financing a greener, stronger Belize.
Crossed borders in Central America, searching for the stories behind the places we think we know. I'm Sabrina Daly, traveling as a Belizean, curious about the culture, the people, and the experiences that make each destination stand out. From the spirited landscapes of Honduras to the evolving heartbeat of El Salvador. Go Pupusas! This journey explores what it really feels like to travel our region. This is Across Borders.
Welcome to the new digitally transformed Vital Statistics Unit, the Civil Registry and Vital Statistics System, CRVS. The CRVS enhances accessibility, transparency, and customer satisfaction. Vital Stats now offers online self-service, which allows you to apply for any service from the comfort of your home. You can now apply for services and pick up certificates at any of our district offices. All of our processes and forms have been standardized to improve the security and privacy of your data. The new digitally transformed VSU now offers secure e-certificates, providing applicants with the flexibility to request either an electronic certificate, a paper certificate, or both formats, digitally connecting citizens to all vital statistics services. Visit our website to learn more and start accessing Vital Stats improved services today.
Man, that's me. My data doesn't, I really need to get my ad out today.
Really? Well, you can join our Smart Group plan.
Really? How that works?
Easy, let me tell you.
Whether it's family, friends, or your small business, we've got the perfect plan for every group. More members equals more savings, more connections. Smart Group plans bring the connectivity you love to you and your circle. No one gets left behind. Explore Share One package option and add on unlimited data, calls, and SMS for the entire group for less than $50 per member. Visit any Smart showroom countrywide or email sales@speednet-wireless.com to sign up today. Smart, bringing people together.
The Belize Police Department released its first set of crime statistics for 2025 on Thursday, figures pulled from the department's CompStat report. Normally, these numbers are presented in Belmopan, followed by a Q&A where the media can press the Minister of Home Affairs and the Commissioner of Police on the details. But this year, that didn't happen. The media wasn't invited, meaning no questions, no clarifications, and no public scrutiny of the data. What we do know is that major crimes dipped by about 1%, and road fatalities also saw a decline. Tonight, News 5's Brittany Gordon takes a closer look at what the numbers really tell us.
Every year, Belizeans expect a rundown of the previous year's crime numbers, usually delivered through the police department's CompStat presentation. It's where officers break down the stats, review their performance, and, importantly, face questions from the media. But not this year. The media wasn't invited, shutting down the only chance to press the Minister of Home Affairs and the Commissioner of Police on the figures. And the irony, Commissioner Dr. Richard Rosado has repeatedly stressed that these presentations are meant to promote transparency and accountability.
I trust that we do not take CompStat as a routine, but as something that is important for institutional growth, professional accountability, and collective progress. In this context, CompStat remains a cornerstone of our transformation, reinforcing accountability, enabling data-driven planning and evaluation and management of operational strategies. As police officers,
the CompStat report shows major crimes dipped by just 1% last year, from 1,098 cases to 1,086. Murder, burglary, theft, and unlawful sexual intercourse all saw small declines. But burglaries are still the country's biggest headache, with 597 cases, slightly down from 601. And while some categories fell, police flagged a troubling spike in theft, robberies, and break-ins that turned deadly, including the murders of Sarita deliverymen Reynard Garbut and Robert Crawford. Police have charged 49-year-old Harry Nathaniel Trapp in that case. Meanwhile, Minister of Home Affairs Oscar Mira praised investigators, noting that officers made 387 arrests in 2025.
In the past few weeks, and especially on the last few days of the year, we had some robberies turned murder. In Belmopan itself, we had a murder that really shook us all, the residents of Belmopan. We had the incidents and murders that happened down south, ISF, Pomona. But hard work, dedication by the police department and those investigators have resulted in positive arrests and charges. And that is something I think that we have to ensure that the public understands. We have the capacity, and we are working hard to solve those issues.
According to the report, unlawful sexual intercourse fell by 28%, with 38 cases reported in comparison to 53 in 2024. Of these 38 reports, 18 arrests have been made. Dr. Rosado shared his vision for the department moving forward, highlighting preventative policing methods.
It affirms our determination to build a police service defined by accountability, guided by ethical leadership, and sustained by public confidence. Honoring that commitment requires more than revised policies. It demands expanded capability, strategic foresight, and a shared vision of excellence. The era of reactive, fragmented, and silo policing must now give way to a modern global standard, a standard where public safety is increasingly driven by intelligence, interoperability, and insight.
The report also shows a major drop in traffic deaths, from 126 to 94, with most fatal crashes happening in the West. Last year, the Home Affairs and Transport Ministries teamed up to crack down on traffic offenses, and the numbers hint that it made a difference. Motorcycles were involved in more than 28% of crashes, while private vehicles made up nearly half. At the CompStat briefing, CEO Elton Bennett said better planning and smarter use of police resources are key to keeping those numbers down.
Whilst visiting around and interacting with the different officers, I ask one question over and over. What is your budget? And how do you implement it in the performance of your duty? And in fact, all of the officers were very confident in saying, we know we have a budget, and we always get support in what we need, as though they know the money is there. But can you really plan?
Mira encouraged each member of the department to reflect on the work that they do in keeping Belize safe and face the challenges of the job with pride.
It is easy to quantify statistics. It is easy to measure the numbers of robberies that happen. It's easy to measure the number of murders that happen. What is not easy and we can't quantify is how many have we prevented. We can't do that. And therefore, nobody, not the public, not the media, not ourselves, really look at what we have prevented.
As the police department prepares for its usual first quarter CompStat briefing, the media is insisting on being included to ensure the kind of accountability and transparency the public expects. Brittany Gordon for News 5.
Belize's National Assembly is in the middle of a major shakeup, and tonight several senators are warning that the proposed changes could erode democratic accountability. Earlier today, the Senate met virtually to debate the National Assembly Powers, Privilege and Immunities Bill 2025, and the reaction was almost unanimous. Senators from the opposition and civil society say the bill goes too far. At the heart of their concern is Section 16(2), a clause that would require public officers to get the Governor General's consent before sharing certain documents or information with Senate committees. Critics argue that this gives the executive sweeping control over who can testify and what can be disclosed, essentially limiting Parliament's ability to properly investigate state affairs. The United Democratic Party has also chimed in, calling on the government to rethink provisions they believe undermine the separation of powers. Tonight, we hear from both sides of the Senate floor, including lead government Senator Eamon Courtney and lead opposition Senator Patrick Faber, as they lay out why this bill is stirring such intense debate.
Committees of the Senate in particular have had difficulties in bringing witnesses and securing documents to bring them before committees of the Senate. What this bill proposes is a new regime that strengthens and gives power to committees to make requests or issue summonses to witnesses for documents to be brought, and to have, some immunities, but more importantly, a very clear regime to address persons who are required to appear, who are required to answer questions, and people who are required to produce documents. Our gravest concerns, Madam President, lie in Section 16, subsection 2. That provision states that no public officer shall be required to give evidence or produce documents relating to unpublished official records or affairs of the state, except with the consent of the Governor General. Now, Madam President, on its face, this may appear to be a procedural safeguard, but in reality, it introduces a fundamental obstruction, in our view, to the parliamentary inquiry process. The Governor General acts on the advice of the executive, and we should not forget that. Therefore, this section effectively places the executive in a position to control who may appear before parliamentary committees and what evidence may be disclosed. This creates a situation where Parliament can summon witnesses in theory, but be blocked in practice whenever scrutiny becomes uncomfortable or practically inconvenient.
The government's proposed National Assembly Powers, Privilege and Immunities Bill is facing strong pushback from all 4 independent senators. Their biggest objection centers on Section 16(2), which would require public officers to get consent before handing over documents or giving evidence on state affairs to the Senate. NGO Senator Janelle Chanona says the measure is flat out unconstitutional. Other senators warn that because the Governor General acts on the advice of the executive, the very officials who might be under investigation could influence what information is released. Business Senator Kevin Herrera says that under this bill, an inquiry into executive corruption could be stalled with a single refusal. Church Senator Louis Wade and Union Senator Glenville Dennison also voiced strong concerns, arguing that the clause undermines transparency and weakens the Senate's oversight powers. We'll break down why independent senators are pushing back so strongly and what this bill could mean for parliamentary scrutiny going forward.
Let us play this out. If the Senate is investigating executive corruption or mismanagement, the Governor General reaches out to the executive. The executive can simply advise the Governor General to withhold consent under the guise of affairs of the state. It's a very broad term. Anything can come under that term, Madam President.
Because of that fear of supporting something that to me reads as unconstitutional, I also took it upon myself to confer with other speakers of Commonwealth parliaments that I've had the opportunity to meet and asking their insight. And they were also at a loss as to what the rationale would be and how that supports what our Constitution conveys, both in terms of separation of powers for the different parts of our democracy, but also for the specific, as Senator Herrera has called out, specifically for the powers and functions that the Constitution gives.
I do agree and believe that it beholdens the Senate to the Governor General as it relates to what can and can be said by a public officer when certain questions are asked. And based upon my observation, the Governor General does not have a full cadre of professionals that can help him or her make that determination. And that Governor General then must depend upon the existing public service.
On this matter, my brother, I just wish to make my position clear. I'm clearly objecting to this particular bill, and I stand very firmly.
So, with all 4 independent senators rejecting that clause outright, the pressure is now on the government to revisit the bill. Whether Section 16(2) stays, changes, or gets dropped altogether could determine just how much real oversight the Senate will have going forward. We'll keep following the developments. Today in the Senate, lawmakers tackled 2 supplementary appropriation bills totaling a massive $200 million. Lead Government Senator Eamon Courtney explained that some of the spending being approved is retroactive, while other portions look ahead to upcoming needs. These bills actually passed through the House of Representatives back in November, and Courtney admitted that the Senate's second reading is late, but said it's still important for the upper house to debate how this money is being spent. The opposition, however, wasn't buying it. They accused the Briceño administration of poor fiscal planning and relying too heavily on the after-the-fact approvals.
There is a combination of salaries for public officers and security officers. There is expenditure in health, in the University of Belize, the Ministry of Sports, and passports, for example. Most importantly, there are investments for increase in the police department and for the Ministry of Rural Transformation, Community Development. The blue economy, Madam President, and disaster Risk Management is getting an additional 1.5 million. A substantial amount of road works is programmed in these two bills throughout the country.
When it is that the government identifies as a priority bringing these supplementary, I say kudos to that. I don't want to take that away from them, but the manner in which these bills are brought suggests now that they lack the proper planning. They are incompetent, Madam President, when it comes to putting together a national budget for this country. It is either that, or, Madam President, it is that they are purposefully trying to present figures at the time of the budget presentation to have the budget look rosy and cozy, if you will, and then later on come with these huge supplementary amounts to fix the problems that were ignored when they created the budget.
The government insists these supplementary allocations cover everything from salaries and health spending to roadworks and police investment. However, the opposition says the real issue is planning or the lack of it. They argue that ballooning supplements only show a budget that wasn't built to hold up in the first place. We'll keep watching how these approvals shape the year's spending. After the break, fraud wave hits Belizean businesses as legal loopholes shield scammers. But first, here's the latest weather update from the Belize Met Service.
This year, Belize felt more connected than ever. We stood with the moments that shape us, our culture, our youth, our stories. And we lifted young dreams even higher, powered by advancement and possibility. Everywhere, Belize is growing, and as the nation evolves, so does the way we connect. This year, Belize showed its light, and we were honored to drive innovation across the country. As we look ahead, our promise is simple: to unite communities, nurture dreams, and continue leading Belize's digital transformation. From our Digi family to yours, wishing you a bright and prosperous 2026.
Happy New Year!
Haven't updated your information recently? Well, kick off the new year as a winner. RF&G Insurance is giving you a free chance to win every month. Entering is easy. Just chat with us on WhatsApp and update your information. That's it. You'll be automatically entered into our monthly raffle for a chance to win awesome prizes. Don't wait. Message us on WhatsApp and update your info today. RF&G Insurance. It pays to get it right.
In the face of tragedy, you depend on accurate and timely information. In times of triumph, you seek to be inspired. You demand transparency and accountability. Your desire is to know and to understand, to be heard and seen. I take pride in telling stories that safeguard communities. Your dedication and success live on through these reports. Getting to the truth is my duty. My unwavering commitment is to tell the stories that matter the most to you. I am News 5.
heart of the Kayo district, Calico Jacks is proving that sustainability and success can go hand in hand.
When Calico Jacks wanted to move to solar energy, the biggest difficulty for us was the finance. Belize Bank believed in our vision, and we are very happy and grateful that they gave us this opportunity for the financing.
Through the Credit Risk Abatement Facility, a partnership between Belize Bank and the CARICOM Development Fund, small and medium businesses can access financing for renewable and energy-efficient solutions with reduced collateral requirements.
Here at SCSB, we're grateful for Belize Bank to make it easy for our clients to go green. We're proud to work with businesses like Calico Jacks to help them lower their costs and their carbon footprint.
At Belize Bank, we are powering Belize's transition to renewable energy, one business at a time. Together with our partners, we're making sustainable financing accessible for all.
Belize Bank, financing a greener, stronger Belize.
When working with sheetrock, you need screws that give you quick penetration for a speedy, stable installation. Best Screws, fast frame and fast finish drywall screws are specifically designed for you. Engineered by Best Manufacturing, Best Screws makes every job faster and easier. These screws offer reliable performance with a superior hold. You also save money due to Best Screws affordability. They are cheaper than the leading brands. Get the job done quickly without compromising on strength. For all your drywall installations, get Best Screws Fast Frame and Fast Finish. Available at Benny's. Quality and savings.
Belizean businesses are losing thousands of dollars to a wave of credit card fraud. And what's even more troubling, many say they're powerless to stop it. A News 5 investigation has found major loopholes in Belize's laws, gaps that scammers are taking full advantage of, leaving hardworking business owners to shoulder the losses, while the fraudsters often slip away without consequence. Now, with more companies stepping forward, the call for urgent legal reform is growing louder. News 5's Paul Lopez has the story.
News 5 has been digging into a sophisticated scam targeting Belizean businesses, and what we've uncovered is alarming. Major gaps in our laws that leave companies wide open and scammers with plenty of room to operate.
I have made numerous statements, numerous reports to the police department over the years, and their hands are pretty much tied. Our local law does not have enough teeth to prosecute these instances.
Lee Mark Chang, the owner of Chunsan Palace, was the first to speak out after years of his restaurant's app being hit by scammers, costing him thousands of dollars. And now he's not alone. Two more businesses have stepped forward: the popular ticketing platform QuickPass and the water taxi company Caribbean Sprinters. Both say they've been targeted and they've already gotten law enforcement involved.
Part of this is that the card holder has to be the one who has to make that complaint. And once they make that complaint, then the police can then pursue further actions in terms of money laundering, obtaining property by deception. You know, there's a slew of charges. Even FIU could get involved.
Public Relations Manager Delroy Fairweather says police can't do much unless the actual cardholder files a report here in Belize. But in most cases, those card holders never bother. Their banks simply reimburse the money. That leaves Belizean businesses footing the bill for the fraud, often losing significant amounts with little chance of recovery. Scammers like the former BPO agent we spoke with anonymously are aware of this reality. They often target the most vulnerable, the elderly.
American people, officer, they always depend online, they look for so free thing that so they get scammed, because they always they look for anything free we could give away, any commercial, anything, they go click on that, register, sign up their information, people call they have one. No more, they got nothing for it, do it when they sign up for and get the information for them.
Back in 2007 to 2009, Jamaica was hit hard by telemarketing and credit card scams. Just like Belize today, police couldn't do much because the laws simply weren't there. Scammers were getting personal information from call centers and data brokers, then using these lead lists to call people and tell them they'd won huge prizes, but only if they paid a fee up front. Hundreds of thousands fell for it, and the lists became so valuable that gangs even fought over them. Jamaica eventually cracked down. The government and the BPO sector pushed through tough new laws. Possessing leads lists became a serious crime. Using stolen credit card info carried heavy penalties, up to 25 years in prison, and authorities could seize assets linked to fraud. These are the kinds of reforms businessman Lee Mark Chang says Belize needs now.
And I'm advocating that the government change these laws to make sure that they put stiffer penalties for people who commit fraud. It's not too late now. It can be done as soon as possible. And we need to stop people stealing credit card information. It's only going to hurt our local economy.
It is worth noting that Chang also sits in the legislature, giving him a direct voice in pushing for the very reforms he's calling for. And with News 5's investigation exposing just how much these scams are costing Belizean businesses, Prime Minister John Briceño says he's already looking at legal reforms, beginning with tougher penalties for offenders.
They are the ones that have to take steps. They are the ones, they have the information, they have to go to the police and make a formal case. From our end, we can ensure that then, we have to ensure that the police then does everything possible to go after these people and to charge them as much as we possibly can. And if we have to consider increasing the penalties, then we're prepared to do so.
While the government says it's open to strengthening the laws, affected businesses warn that time isn't on their side. For now, they're forced to pour major resources into boosting their cybersecurity just to keep scammers at bay. Reporting for News 5, I am Paul Lopez.
Business Senator Kevin Herrera ended today's virtual Senate meeting with a sharp warning about the proposed BTL SpeedNet merger. He says Belizeans fought for years to escape a telecom monopoly, and this deal could drag them right back into one, despite BTL selling it as efficiency. His comments come after the Belize Chamber of Commerce and Industry welcomed continued consultations, but insisted the process must be transparent and grounded in a clear look at how the move would affect competition. The Chamber also urged BTL to come to the table and answer the public's questions. Tonight, Senator Herrera says Belizeans deserve better, and he's not convinced this deal delivers.
The people of Belize deserve better than a return to the past. I speak of the proposed acquisition of SpeedNet by Belize Telemedia Limited. We are being sold a narrative of efficiency, Madam President. We are being promised a strategic consolidation. But let us peel back the corporate jargon and call it what it truly is, the state-sponsored execution of competition in the telecommunication sector. History is a tough but effective teacher, Madam President, and the history of the Belizean telecom monopoly is a story of high prices and pain with telecommunication rates. So we don't forget the late 1990s, Madam President, when BTL enjoyed a profit margin of over 50 cents on every dollar in every revenue earned. To move back toward a single provider is a voluntarily walk back into the cage we fought decades to escape. Madam President, the BTL board argues that this merger is a survival tactic against the inevitable entry of Starlink. This is not just flawed logic, it is a dangerous delusion, Madam President. Buying competition is not an innovation. Removing a local rival does not make BTL more agile against a global satellite giant. It simply makes BTL a larger, slower, and more bureaucratic target.
As consultations move forward, Senator Herrera says the issue is clear. Belizeans worked hard to gain real competition, and this merger could reverse that progress. Now, he says it's up to BTL to face the public and justify the deal. After almost 3 months of waiting, social activist Jerry Enriquez finally got a response from the Office of the Prime Minister to his Freedom of Information request on constituency development funds, but it wasn't what he asked for. Instead of a detailed breakdown, he received a single-page sheet listing only the monthly allocation per constituency. Enriquez is calling it inadequate and dismissive, saying it raises serious questions about transparency, accountability, and whether those funds are being distributed fairly. Here's what Enriquez told us today.
What I received yesterday evening, January 22nd, it's just one-page document, just saying what each area representative and electoral division receive for each month. The information we received felt very short, disappointingly short of what we had asked for and for all the extensions that we had granted for the information that we requested. I think the way that we were responded to was very condescending, disrespectful. And I will hope that the Office of the Prime Minister treat the Freedom of Information request with the seriousness that it deserves. The citizens deserve to know that information. And under the Freedom of Information Act, there should be nothing that withholds the government to present that to the public. That is public funds, and the public has a right to know how these funds are allocated to each electoral divisions, how it is used, what is it used for, what is the process for accounting for its use each year, and we need to know that so that in our economy of fiscal constraints, we need to know that these accountability measures are in place. Just from that one-page document, and I said, again, I must say, it's just from that information, it showed some gross discrepancies in the allocation of community development funds across constituencies. It seemed as if it is a haphazard way that it was done. That is why we asked what were the principles, what guides, what kind of data they use, what guides the level of allocations, especially when we have grossly imbalanced electoral divisions.
When we return, Hydro Belize IPO oversubscribed by Belizeans.
Me, my data done, and I really need to get my ad out today.
Really? Well, you can join our Smart Group plan.
Really? How that works?
Easy, let me tell you.
Whether it's family, friends, or your small business, we've got the perfect plan for every group. More members equals more savings, more connections. Smart Group plans bring the connectivity you love to you and your circle. No one gets left behind. Explore Share One package option and add on unlimited data, calls, and SMS for the entire group for less than $50 per member. Visit any Smart showroom countrywide or email sales@speednet-wireless.com to sign up today. Smart, bringing people together.
For decades, BEL has powered Belize's growth and progress, lighting homes, energizing industries, and fueling national development. But in a world reshaped by extreme weather patterns, digital transformation, and evolving customer needs, the future of energy demands a new approach. The future of energy is now, and it's not just about new technology. It's about people and how we use, manage, and store power smarter. BEL is leading the transformation, blending modern advancements with the wisdom of sustainable energy practices. Integrating technologies will redefine how Belize produces and uses energy. With distributed generation and smart grid technologies, customers are becoming power partners. Energy is no longer a one-way street. BEL is making key investments that will reinforce the grid to make this a reality, ensuring energy security for generations. At BEL, we are more than an energy provider. We work to safeguard Belize's energy future, which will have demand response programs, where customers will be able to shift use during peak hours to take advantage of the new time of use or off-peak rate structures. Customer energy portals, real-time insights and tools to track usage and manage energy smarter, smart metering, advanced metering infrastructure, faster, safer service and actionable energy insights, distributed generation, integrating rooftop solar, microgrids and battery storage for two-way power flows into the national grid. Together, we are bringing you a brighter tomorrow.
Every connection we make is more than just a signal. It's a student unlocking a future through digital education. A young mind daring to dream bigger. Our culture shared with the world in real time. And everyday heroes answering the call of civic duty. When we connect with Digi, we empower Belize.
Belizeans didn't hesitate this month. They rushed to buy into Hydro Belize, the newly nationalized hydropower company that fuels almost a third of the country's electricity. And the response was overwhelming. The public offer didn't just sell out, it was oversubscribed. Belizeans wanted 4.5 million shares, 500,000 more that was even available. At $29 a share, the price certainly helped. But was it just the affordability that sparked this national investment frenzy, or is there something bigger that's driving Belizeans to take this financial leap? News 5's Brittany Gordon takes a closer look.
It's been a huge month for Hydro Belize, the hydropower company that keeps roughly a third of the country's lights on. And when the government opened the doors for Belizeans to buy shares, the response was immediate. More than 2,000 people jumped at the chance, pushing demand past $4 million worth of shares, 500,000 more than what was even on offer. Among those eager new investors is 25-year-old Moneli Espinal, one of the eager thousands hoping to own a piece of the country's energy future.
Seeing it circulating online, I had some people ask me if I was planning to invest because they're investors as well. And I thought, I've never quite invested in something like this, so let me really read what they've put out. And I will admit that they did do a pretty good job of presenting the information to us. It just took a little bit of time to get through.
It's Aspinall's first step into investing, so she decided to start small, just 10 shares. She knows it's not money she'll see again right away, but she's prepared to wait it out. Hydro Belize President Kay Menzies explains how the process works.
Think of this in a small way, like you've bought a piece of the company. This isn't a loan. This isn't you've given us $29 and we will give you back $29. This is like when if you make a loan and you charge interest, you would get the interest over time. And eventually, if you wanted to sell that piece of the company that you own, then you can get your $29 back by selling that share.
Menzies added that the company will undergo an independent audit at the end of every year. The company will also publish its financial statements and annual report each year, along with a breakdown of its profits. Following this exercise, a portion of the profits will then be distributed to shareholders.
The payback for that in a year would be something around like $30-something. But if it stays at that level now, if people start investing and the importance of it improves, then the share cost improve, then dividends change, all that fun stuff. So I'm looking forward to have something that I can be very attentive to, kind of like as they talk about it, as it develops, maybe if it gets bigger and we start personally depending more on the hydroelectric dam for our electricity here.
Aspinall reveals that like many of her peers, she wasn't very familiar with the process of investing, but commends Hydro Belize for laying out the details in an easy-to-understand format.
I know that there were concerns about, since it was so cheap, persons who had the money to shell out would go and they would buy really big pieces of the shares. And I know that even at this point that they've maxed out on the share applications and that the amount of money that they expected is like way over. So I do worry that the small people like me might get boxed out. But I do hope that they take into consideration the little people like me that are interested in contributing to their country.
Menzies says the overwhelming response has been met with gratitude, and a dedicated team is now focused on delivering real returns on Belize's investments. She underscores the Hydro Belize's commitment to keeping the grid powered with clean, green energy.
We're looking to, over time, expand that capacity. Now, growth opportunities were defined in the prospectus, and we are looking at ways that we can increase the hydroelectric capacity, as well as looking for other opportunities to provide power. Our one restriction is that we prefer that power always be renewable and green in keeping with Belize's commitment to the environment. So very unlikely you'll see us investing in diesels or anything like that, but more solar and continued investment in hydro and other technologies that keep the environment clean.
As talk continues about whether Belize's crime-fighting strategy might shift under the new Minister of Home Affairs, former Minister Karim Musa is stepping in to defend the work of the Leadership Intervention Unit. Musa says there's nothing at the cabinet level suggesting the program will be scaled back. In fact, he argues the LIU has produced real results. He points to the sharp drop in murders over the last 3 years as proof that the initiative, first envisioned by the late William Dawson, is doing exactly what it was designed to do. And in his view, the answer isn't to dismantle it, but to strengthen it.
But from the information that I'm getting, at least at the cabinet level, I don't hear any move being made to downsize it. I think the Leadership Intervention Unit, as envisioned by the late William Dawson, is such an incredible concept. Yes, there is a long way to go in terms of implementing a lot of what he had envisioned for the program, but you can clearly see a result in terms of the statistics each year. The last 3 years, for the first time in over 25 years, we've had under 90 murders, or 90 and below, I believe, when we used to have 140. And so when you look at it from a clear black and white statistical purpose, you can see where it has had an impact. And so I would hope that it's something that we can continue and even strengthen as we move ahead.
And Musa says the numbers speak for themselves. 3 straight years of lower murder counts, something the country hasn't seen in more than 2 decades. For him, the Leadership Intervention Unit isn't something to scale back, but something to build on as Belize looks for long-term solutions to violent crime. Career educator George Fraser has passed at 78. He wasn't just a name in the teachers' movement. He was one of its pillars. A founding member of the Belize National Teachers Union and a fierce defender of educators' rights, Fraser helped shape the BNTU into the powerful voice it is today. As General Secretary and later as a senior advisor, he was always on the front lines, organizing, negotiating, and showing up at every major demonstration where teachers demanded respect, fair wages, and a real seat at the table. Even in retirement, his voice never faded. He never stopped insisting that teachers deserve dignity in the classroom and in national policy. Tonight, tributes are pouring in from those who marched beside him and those he inspired from afar. We spoke with two of them, former BNTU President Luke Palacio and NTUCB President Ella Waite, about what the many men have called the lion of the BNTU, meant to Belize's labor movement.
George was no pushover. George was a vociferous individual, ardent fighter for the rights of workers, and not only teachers, but workers in general and the country of Belize. I can say that George was not only a teacher, not only a leader, but in my case, he was also a father to me. George would have mentored me. George had advised me. George took me into his home, like I said earlier. And during my years as the president of BNTU between 2011 and 2017, I abode with George on Gibnut Street. So I am very familiar with the gentleman. Jovial fellow at conventions. George would be the one. Yes, he will ensure that the business is flowing. But when it is time to party, he would have also been on the floor, the first one on the floor, partying with all our teachers. And when he had to stand up, he would stand up.
The National Trade Union Congress joins the BNTU and the wider labor movement in mourning the passing of renowned union leader, Brother George Fraser. If you know Brother Fraser was a principled and courageous advocate for teachers' rights, social justice, and good governance. If you know that his leadership within the BNTU and his unwavering commitment to the trade union movement helped shape labor advocacy in Belize and inspire generations of unionists. So we extend NTUCB and all our affiliate unions extend our deepest condolences to his family, his colleagues, and of course the entire BNTU membership, who we know at this very moment are very sad, but I know that they recognize and they appreciate everything that Brother Fraser has done for the union movement in Belize.
The Baseball Federation of Belize is calling all fans out to the field tomorrow as young athletes from Belize, Guatemala, and Mexico face off in the initiatory Babe Ruth National Baseball Tournament. It's shaping up to be a full day of energy, competition, and some serious talent from the region's rising stars. The tournament gets underway on Saturday, January 24th at 9 a.m. sharp at Sandhill Field on the Philip Golson Highway. Organizers say the event is aimed at developing youth talent and growing the sport locally while giving players exposure to international competition. We spoke with one of the organizers, Sasha Ely, and one of the young talented baseball players today.
This is a huge deal for Belize only because it's the first time a tournament like this is being played in Belize, and it's baseball. You know, when we were younger, we grew up on Chicago TV. We grew up on baseball. It was never a softball thing. It was a baseball thing. So it's going to be very nostalgic. I mean, I am 36 and I've never seen a baseball game played. So, you know, it's an experience, and it's an experience as a sport fanatic that I would like to have. So I think everyone who is into sport or can remember when they were younger and used to watch a Cubs game, they will definitely be excited to be there and be a part of it. And it's a historic moment. Like, you would want to be a part of history, right? We have two Belizean teams that will be playing. There are the Young Legends and Black Viper. Black Viper is from SJC, and Young Legend is the softball team that recently won their league, right? And coming in, we have the Mexicans, the Irish, and we have a Guatemala team coming in.
We could expect like just
Good competition, just good gameplay, good pitching, everything.
What has the team done to prepare for this game?
We have a practice today at 5 o'clock just to get ready for the game.
And do you all think you are ready for the international competition?
Yes, I do think.
Up next, small community, big influence. Japanese culture flourishes in Belize.
Need to submit your sickness benefit claim online and have a physical medical certificate? Here's how you can do it. First, go to ssbportal.org.bz and log into your My Social Security account. Next, on your dashboard, click Benefits and choose Forms. Review the requirements, then click Continue to proceed. Click Apply under Sickness Benefit to start your claim. Review and confirm your banking information. If it is not correct, select No and follow the steps to update your banking details. If your banking information is correct, select Yes. Next, if your illness is not related to an injury at work, select No and proceed to upload your medical certificate. Select your claim period and confirm your employer details. Read the declarations and click each to agree. Click Submit and you're done. A confirmation email will be sent to you. Your employer will also receive an email with your claim details and a request for your salary information. If needed, submit your sickness benefit claim online and receive real-time status updates.
Man, that's me. My data done, and I really need to get my ARA out today.
Really? Well, you can join our Smart Group plan.
Really? How that work?
Easy, let me tell you.
Whether it's family, friends, or your small business, we've got the perfect plan for every group. More members equals more savings, more connections. Smart group plans bring the connectivity you love to you and your circle. No one gets left behind. Explore Share One package option and add on unlimited data, calls, and SMS for the entire group for less than $50 per member. Visit any Smart showroom countrywide or email sales@speednet-wireless.com to sign up today. Smart, bringing people together.
Start your day the right way with your morning boost. Get moving with energizing workouts, refreshing yoga sessions, and easy tips to keep your mind and body in balance. From fitness to personal growth and positivity, we're here to kickstart your mornings with motivation that lasts all day. Wake up to wellness. Your morning boost every weekday at 6 a.m. only on Greater Belize Media.
Unwrap the joy of crystal clear picture and sound from Aiwa, the brand that offers you affordability and exceptional quality. Aiwa has a wide range of exceptional products to choose from, such as TVs, speakers, headphones, home appliances, and much more at affordable prices that won't break the bank. Enhance your audio-visual entertainment experience with Aiwa, and for your convenience, parts are readily available in country for hassle-free maintenance. You can find Aiwa products at your local electronics store countrywide. Choose Aiwa, the best in home entertainment and household appliances.
In the heart of the Kayo district, Calico Jacks is proving that sustainability and success can go hand in hand.
When Calico Jacks wanted to move to solar energy, the biggest difficulty for us was the finance. Belize Bank believed in our vision, and we are very happy and grateful that they gave us this opportunity for the financing.
Through the Credit Risk Abatement Facility, a partnership between Belize Bank and the CARICOM Development Fund, small and medium businesses can access financing for renewable and energy-efficient solutions with reduced collateral requirements.
Here at SCSB, we're grateful for Belize Bank to make it easy for our clients to go green. We're proud to work with businesses like Calico Jacks to help them lower their costs and their carbon footprint.
At Belize Bank, we are powering Belize's transition to
to renewable energy, one business at a time. Together with our partners, we're making sustainable financing accessible for all.
Belize Bank, financing a greener, stronger Belize.
Belize's Japanese community may be small, but their cultural footprint is anything but. From the flavors we enjoy and the martial arts practiced across the country to the art, fashion, and the exploding popularity of anime and manga, Japanese culture has woven itself into Belizean life in surprising and inspiring ways. For one young Belizean, Tyler Ramirez, that influence started early and sparked a deep passion for manga. So, News 5's Sabrina Daly set out to explore what makes manga so special and why its fan base in Belize keeps growing. Here's this week's Bright Side.
In Belize, the Japanese community is a tiny fraction of the population, but their influence is seen in local cuisine, martial arts, art, fashion, and especially in the growing love for anime and manga. One Belizean artist inspired by that culture is 25-year-old Tyler Ramirez, who discovered his passion for anime as a young boy and has since pursued it through his work as an entrepreneur and manga artist.
Basically, when I first started drawing with just a pencil and typing sheet. That was it. And I would take it to the print store and get it scanned in. And then, gladly I had a computer, I finished the texturing and text on the digital software.
Manga is a style of Japanese comic books and graphic novels, known for its detailed artwork and storytelling that spans every genre imaginable. Often serving as the source for popular anime, it's a medium where artists like Tyler Ramirez can bring characters and stories to life, blending imagination with culture.
It takes a lot of research. So normally the way how I would do it is I would plan out the chapters. And then from planning out the chapter, I would take it into dialogues. And then from dialogues, I would work on the first draft, which would be the storyboard for the series.
Asako Solis, who has made Belize her home, says she's loved embracing local culture while seeing her own warmly welcomed in return.
Actually, that's Belizean teach me that have a lots of mestizo culture, Creole culture, Maya culture, Garifuna culture. That's enrich my life. And then I appreciated that the people is open-minded to accept my culture as well.
I think the thing that's very unique about anime and the community itself is the relatability to one's character. Like, for example, when you're watching an anime and you see a character that, you know, matches your vibe or similar to you as a person in your everyday life, you tend to be drawn to it.
Ramirez may have found inspiration at home. Animaniacs Belize is an online community for anime and Japanese culture lovers. What started with just 20 members has grown into nearly 3,000, led by its president, Eden Cruz.
The influence of manga to Belizeans is very inspirational because manga tells stories, various types of stories like slice of life. We have action, adventure, romance. It's for the young, like children up to adults. So there's a wide range, and that inspiration that people read these mangas from Japan. We have a lot of artists in Belize, and you know, people do like painting or drawing, and that eventually evolves into like creating stories.
In 2025, the young artist took a bold step, submitting his work to the prestigious silent manga auditions, also known as SMA. While he didn't place, Ramirez says the experience of sharing his art on an international stage gave him perspective, motivation, and a sense of what's possible for Belizean artists.
It was an amazing experience because the judges, they also like write to you exactly where you need to improve and what needs to be fixed for the next submission. So yeah, I'm looking forward to joining the next SMA contest.
Ramirez's work is part of a growing movement that sees art as more than a hobby. And as he keeps creating, leaders at Animaniacs Belize say local talent has the power to open doors both at home and abroad, inspiring the next generation of Belizean artists to dream bigger and build careers right here.
These artists, they can also utilize their talents for not only for hobbies, but maybe they can enter international contests. Maybe that can be their work. Maybe they can be illustrators for organization in Belize. And hopefully, I would hope that the Belizean community or Belize in general appreciate these artists, because that will inspire them to maybe one day we have somebody who's an animator.
Manga is not only for here, only for Belize, Japan. It's like worldwide. There is a way. It's same like one of the music or arts. The manga can spread to the world.
My goal is to actually eventually open like an artist village here in Belize, but I also need the experience. So this is the reason why I keep striving to become better, so that I could also be like an instructor here in Belize for the artist village when I do achieve that goal.
Looking on the bright side, I'm Sabrina Daly.
And before we leave you, here's tonight's viewer's voice. On our first story, deadly ambush at BWS warehouse leaves family mourning. Herman Martinez commented. Lots of twists and turns to this story seems to be emerging. I'm sure video footage will shed much light to what actually happened. On the topic, Lion of the BNTU, George Fraser dies at 78, Jill Serrano shared, "Our BNTU mighty lion has completed his journey on earth. Go in peace, Brother Frage. The seeds you sowed have germinated and flourished. You will forever be missed. May his soul rest in peace." Thank you for engaging with us online. Your voices shape the national conversation. Keep those comments coming and we'll continue to feature them right here. And that's the news. Tonight's broadcast is available at greaterbelize.com, on our Facebook and on YouTube. I'm Jamie Rock. Thanks for joining us, and from all of us here at News 5, have a happy and safe weekend. Good night.